What's going on, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome back to Gax Reviews, and welcome to Top 10 season, baby. As with every other YouTube channel, everyone is doing top 10s. I'm hopping on that bandwagon because it's my first year as a YouTuber. I want to give my thoughts on some stuff. It's December already. I don't know how we made it here. This feels like the longest and the shortest year both span into one. And 2020 has taken away a lot of movies from us. And because of that, I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, this list is my top 10 most anticipated delayed films that were supposed to come out in 2020 that were pushed to 2021. Before we get started, I want you guys in that comment section below, what films are you excited for that got delayed? And tell me all of them in the comment section. Let's get a little conversation going. And before we get started, I want to give an honorable mention to Black Widow. That's right, Black Widow was not in my top 10. And I think part of this is just because the hype has kind of died around for me. I feel like in general, I wasn't the most excited about this. The trailer looks good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they kind of missed their opportunity to put Scarlett Johansson in a solo film a while back. She should have been the first one in the MCU to have that. It could have happened in phase 2. They didn't do that. So it feels like it's a little too late. Obviously, this is going to be her swan song unless they decide to do a sequel at some point, but I'm excited about the casting in there. Florence Pugh, I'm really excited to see. She's one of my favorite up-and-coming actresses, so I'm excited to see her in the MCU and take an expanded role outside of this film also. So I'm excited for it, but just slightly outside my top 10. Coming in at number 10, we have is Raya and the Last Dragon, which is a new Disney animated film. And it's been a while since we've seen not just an animated film. We had Frozen back in 2018, Frozen 2 back in 2018, but an original film. It's been since 2016, so 5 years since we've seen Disney do something original with their animated films. And I've seen people online give some criticism towards this film unwillingly. I don't really understand it, but I'm excited to see this. I think the plot looks really interesting. I think that this is a good step towards more diversity and more roles for some Asian Americans in Hollywood and in anime in general. I think Kelly Marie Tran is a good actress. I think she was slightly misused in the Star Wars newer trilogies. And Awkwafina, while I'm not the biggest fan of some of her comedies like she does in Crazy Rich Asians, I love her in The Farewell. So I'm excited to see what they do with this film. Really, Disney is kind of my childhood. Every time I see a new Disney film, I'm just excited to see what they bring. Even if I don't love the film, like Frozen, I'm excited to see what they do. And you know what? Can't fault them for that. That's coming at my number 10. Coming in at number 9 is CANDYMAN, which is a supernatural slasher film that is directed by Nia DaCosta and written by Jordan Peele. You know Jordan Peele, that little director who did Get Out and Us? Yeah, I love those movies. Get Out a little bit more than Us. I know a lot of people had some issues with Us. I didn't really. I still think it's a great film. So I'm excited to see what Peele does again. Obviously, it's not directed by him, but DaCosta, I've heard, is a name that people are kind of throwing out there as maybe an up-and-comer horror film. I know she did a film a couple years ago that I really need to check out that got rave reviews, but I'm excited about this. This is a remake of the original 1992 film. People love that film. I still have not checked that out, but I'm just excited for a new horror movie because we have not seen a good horror movie this year, and I can say that willingly. I liked Freaky. Freaky was good, but that's more along the side of not really horror, but more slashery, like comedy, where I'm looking for more straight up Jordan Peele written horror, and that's what we're getting here. So I'm excited about that. The cast also, Yaha Abdul-Mateen, who was tremendous in the Trial of Chicago 7 with the limited time he had. I'm excited to see him have an expanded role here. And Coleman Domingo, who, if you guys have not seen Euphoria, he just was in the special episode, and he killed that thing. One of my favorite performances of the year. So I'm really excited to see those two on screen, as well as some of the other cast. It looks great. And yeah, it's one of my most anticipated horror films of the year, but it's not my only one that's on this list. And coming in at number 8 is The French Dispatch. And I know what you're saying. Ugh. Wes Anderson. You're a film fan. You like Wes Anderson. Yes, I do. I don't love Wes Anderson like a lot of other people do, though. I think that The Fantastic Mr. Fox is my favorite film of his. And everything else around there ranges from that good to great tier. But The French Dispatch just looks like a really interesting story. The cast is great, as what you would expect. Just a massive, massive ensemble cast. And I'm just excited for some more indie films like this. I love Saoirse Ronan. I love Timothée Chalamet. I'm excited to see them in another film together again. And it just looks like a fun time. And because of that, The French Dispatch is at my number 8. Number 7 we have is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And yes, the Conjuring universe has kind of been something that's kind of spiraled down a little bit. The first 2 films, I think, are some incredible imagery, some incredible horror films just in general. And I think James Wan has a lot to do with that. And the thing that has me kind of hesitant about this movie is, one, we've heard almost nothing about this. I understand that it is a sequel to The Nun and Conjuring 2. And I could put this lower on my list, but I love those first two films so much. The thing that has me hesitant is how they've headed in the spin-off films, because I haven't liked any of them aside from Annabelle Creation. And this is directed by Michael Chaves, not James Wan. Michael Chaves did The Curse of La Llorona, which is not a good film. So I'm a little hesitant, but it has the same cast of the original two Conjuring films. So I hope that just because it has the name The Conjuring and not as much of a spin-off, that there's some direction that they're going to be good with, and that's not going to be crap like the other film. So a little hesitant, but I'm still excited to see this film. This comes in at my number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Godzilla vs. Kong. And how can you not be excited for two big monsters fighting each other on a big screen or a smaller screen, because HBO Max decided to put them all on their streaming service. So I'm excited. While I'm not the biggest fans of some of the films they put out, I don't like the 2014 Godzilla. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I really don't like it. And because of that, I have not checked out Kong, which was the film that put out in 2017, and the new Godzilla film. Both have gotten mixed reactions. I haven't seen them yet. I'm going to catch up before Kong vs. Godzilla, but it just sounds tailor-made to me. Just seeing these big animals, big monsters fight each other, I'm pumped. How can you not want to see this? I just hope there's a decent script written around that, which has been my issue with Godzilla and some of the other stuff around there and what I've heard. So I'm hoping they can get that, but really, how are you not excited to see this on the screen? This comes in at my number 6. Coming at my number 5, we're halfway there, is Last Night in Soho, which is the newest film by Edgar Wright. And I don't think this is on enough people's radars. I think Edgar Wright is one of the most fascinating and interesting directors when it comes to digital filmography. And the way he's able to make his films have all blown me away in different ways. Shaun of the Dead, The Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver. That's an insane 4 films right there. And I love Baby Driver, and so I'm really excited to see what Edgar Wright does next. And this is not just any type of film. He's kind of moved around different genres. He's done a little bit of horror, kind of like spoofing horror, but this is apparently a full-fledged psychological thriller. And that makes me really excited, because the way I've seen some of his other films, I think that it's just going to knock it out of the park with this. It's set in the olden days, so that's going to look great. Has Anna Taylor-Joy and Thomasin McKenzie in there, 2 of my favorite actresses working out there right now. So I'm really excited for this. This comes in at my number 5. Coming in at number 4, here's the Marvel movie you were all looking for, Eternals. I feel like we're kind of past the point in the MCU where we can judge things before it comes out, because Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone's hands were up like, what the hell are they doing? And it worked and became one of the most popular franchises within the MCU. So Eternals is kind of the same way. This is a thing I don't really know a ton about, but I'm excited because, first of all, Chloe Zhao, hello, she's definitely a director that has reached my piqued my interest when I have watched No Man Land earlier this year. So I'm excited to see her take on Eternals, because she said she had complete creative control, and that makes me excited just seeing the way she's able to film her films and her direction style. And not just that, the cast in this: Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek, Kit Harington, and Laura Ridolph, who is the first deaf actress within the MCU. That is a stacked cast right there. And it's going to be wacky, it's going to be zany, and it's going to set up one of the bigger groups in Phase 4, and I'm excited to see all of that. It was supposed to come out, I believe, last month, but coming out almost a year away now, and that Eternals is at my number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3 is No Time to Die, the newest James Bond movie that just seems to keep moving away from our grasps. Was supposed to come out in March, then was moved to July, then was moved to October, now is moved to April, I believe, again. So almost a full year from when it was supposed to come out originally. And look, I love James Bond just as much as anyone else does. I think Daniel Craig is the best James Bond, and it's not even close in my opinion. Casino Royale, Skyfall. I just rewatched Skyfall a couple months ago. One of my favorite films. I just love what he's able to do, giving Bond that edge, but still being so classy and so interesting, and this weaving storylines between all of them. While not all the films have been good, I didn't like Spectre, and that's a disappointment because Sam Mendes is a really good director. I just think there's a lot going on there that didn't work. I'm excited to see this because it's the conclusion to the story we've been building up for 4 or 5 movies now. We have a brand new villain in Rami Malek, who I love Rami, and we're bringing back Christoph Waltz, who I hope they do better with than they did in Spectre. And really, this just has all the pieces of being the best Bond film out there. Could it disappoint? Maybe, but I think that this is going to be the conclusion to Daniel Craig's story, his last film as Bond. I think there's no way that this film no way that this film disappoints, and because of that, it's at my number 3. on my list. Coming in at number 2, this might surprise a lot of people, but if you know me, it probably wouldn't surprise you. My most anticipated horror film of the year. You can see how there's the horror on here. I love horror. A Quiet Place Part 2. Now, I think part of this is because my anticipation for this has kind of just... it stayed around here for so long because I was 2 days away from seeing this movie. This is the first film to get delayed. Back in March, this kind of was the oh shit moment for everyone that this year was not going to be the same. So I had tickets to go see the double feature, the first and second. The second film's already had reviews out. People were giving it rave reviews. And all of the worries that I had, the fact that John Krasinski wasn't in the film, but he was still directing it, all that went away because everyone said it was a worthy sequel that built upon the lore of the universe and was even better than the first one. And I love Emily Blunt. And then it just got taken away from us so that it didn't come out in September. And here we are in December and it's still not out. And just look, I love the first film. It may not hold up as well on second rewatches because that tension is kind of taken away because it feels really good when you're in the theaters. That sounds really sexual. The tension feels really, it's there when you're watching the film in theaters because everyone's so quiet because at a moment something's going to happen. I love that feeling, and I can't wait to feel that again in a movie theater because please put this out in the movie theaters, please. I just want to see this already, though. Can I don't know. I'm confused. I just want this coming out, and because of that, it is my number 2 most anticipated delayed film. Coming in at my number 1 most anticipated delayed film from 2020 to 2021 is Dune. Was there really even a question what my number 1 was going to be? I love Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve is my top 3 directors right now working. He's made some incredible films: Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049. He's on a roll right now. So I'm not worried that this film is going to be good because I feel like it's already going to be a masterpiece. And for a film that people have touted as the inadaptable source material, the book, whose people have heard is quite complex, people have read it, love it, but there's such a deep, rich lore to that. I actually have the book upstairs. I'm excited to read it. Was going to read it before the film came out, but hey, it's delayed. So yeah, I'm excited. The cast, again, Timothée Chalamet, you have Josh Brolin, you have Rebecca Ferguson, you have Oscar Isaac, you have Zendaya, you have all of these people in here working with Denis Villeneuve's attention to style and his attention to detail. All of that just feels like this is going to be a spectacle and a sci-fi modern classic like he has proven with Blade Runner 2049. And the trailer looks amazing. That earthworm, oh my lordy. There's just no way this wasn't going to be my number 1. I'm gutted that we were supposed to get this, I think, like soon. It's at the time of recording, it's December 9th. It was supposed to come out around this time. So that's gutting. Hopefully I will be able to check it out on a big theater if theaters are open by next year in November, which please be open. But yeah, Dune is my number 1 on my list. And there you guys have it. That is my top 10 most anticipated delay films from 2020 to 2021. Did I leave any out? Was there any that you're looking forward to that I didn't mention? Leave down in the comment section below. And that about wraps up for this video. If you guys did enjoy, if you could hit a like button and subscribe for more. We got a lot more top 10s coming out for you guys. So stay tuned in the next coming weeks. But other than that, I've been Jake, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.